Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another exciting edition of Transformers Reviews. Well, today, guys, we're going to go ahead and do something just a little bit different. In one of my previous videos, Daniel Espinoza commented that he liked the Star Saber from the Transformers Prime series. And what I told him in the comments is that I was going to do a review of this Beast Hunters version of Optimus with the Star Saber. But I kind of reconsidered what I was thinking about doing, and I want to go ahead and honor that in a way, but I'm not going to go ahead and review Optimus, as this is an older figure now and it really doesn't make any sense. I mean, unless you were looking for one on eBay, but we're not going to get into that. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and review the Star Saber, the Dark Star Saber, and the Forge of Solus Prime. So to start off, we're going to go ahead and look at the actual Star Saber itself. And this is the Dr. Wu TP-08 Blue Skybreaker sword. And this sword, along with the Dark Star Saber and the Forge, also, they all had different color variations. So like there was a red version, a green version, just a million different ones, to be honest. So anyway, when you look at this one, if you look at this, you may notice the pommel right here. And you're thinking, well, that may not fit through a 5mm peg hole like on Optimus or any of the other ones like that. And the way that this is accomplished is actually the pommel itself will detach from the sword, and then that way you can go ahead and put the hilt down through the figure's fist and then reattach the pommel on the other side, and that kind of secures it to the figure. Now actually this is the right way, this is with the sword facing right side up. And I always thought that was kind of weird because, you know, with the guard down here on this bit, I always thought it should have been like this with the bigger chunk being the bottom part of the sword, but when you actually look at the animation model of the sword, or just in the show in general, this bigger part is the top part of the sword. But overall, I love the detail on it. I mean, you look at, because this little bit right here is separate from this top piece, so it does have a little bit of a gap. But I mean, just the detail on it is amazing, especially down here where the gold and silver paint is. So yeah, I really do like it. Obviously, you know, when in the show, whenever the sword was charged with energy, it was blue. So that's kind of why I went with this one. And yeah, I really do like it. I mean, it is, and the reason I got it was, had Hasbro given us something better than this right here, I probably wouldn't have. But I'm kind of glad that they did, because this is not only it's amazing as far as the quality and reproduction goes. So anyway, we will move on to the Dark Star Saber. Oh, I forgot about on this with the Star Saber kit with Optimus. It does come with this clip back here. So if you didn't want Optimus to actually be physically holding the sword, it could clip in, and then you could just have it kind of hanging off Optimus's back, kind of, and which is a look that has been kind of adopted by the Age of Extinction Optimus. When you look at kind of how his Age of Extinction Last Night one, so how he kind of has this little sword hanging out back there. So we'll go ahead and move on to the Dark Star Saber carried by Megatron. And just like the other Star Saber, this one actually came with a deal where you could store the saber on Megatron's back. And it's a little bit different, obviously, but which I love the look that it gives him, because I guess it was in the season 2. Yeah, it was definitely in season 2 that Megatron. There's a couple scenes where he's carrying it on his back, which I love how that kind of gives him the look of that. So anyway, we kind of pull it out, and it is a little bit tricky because on the Dark Star Saber, these bits sometimes like to catch on the little hook that this thing hangs on Megatron's back. Alrighty, and when we look at this was actually the Dr. Wu TP-09 Tyrant Sword purple version. Now this sword, much like the regular Star Saber, had many different color versions, but again, because in the show it was purple as it was made from Dark Energon, I really love this one, probably even more than the regular Star Saber, just because of how wicked it is in its design and everything. And much like the other Star Saber, again, so it can fit through Megatron's hand, the pommel will detach and reattach to the hilt, and you're good to go. So, but I mean, and yeah, just again, I love the totally wicked design of the black and the purple, and just, I mean, That is just really cool. But what's funny about this one is the points on this actual saber are sharp, and not just on the blade, even here on the hilt. These are a little bit, they'll poke you if you're not paying attention. So anyway, I mean, it's really excellent. And when you compare it to the actual Star Saber, they're actually, see if I can get this in frame here, they're pretty comparable in length. Almost, I mean, the dark inner one is just a little bit longer, but not by much. So anyway, really, I love both sabers. They're fantastic for which figure they go with, and I'm pretty pleased with them. So alrighty, we'll go ahead and move on to the forge. Now the forge, again, with the pommel separator. That's how you get it out of there. Of course, it kind of has a little bit of a longer pommel section. And this actual version of the forge obviously is not screen accurate, but it was the Dr. Wu TP10D full gear set. And I'll come back to that in a second, because as it was part of a full gear set, this actually came with this version of Ultra Magnus's rifle, which I know at least once in the show he used his rifle. I believe it was in whenever they were storming Darkmount. He actually used this rifle, and I think it's really kind of cool because his was like silver and blue. So to have this kind of darker, cooler looking version, I really do like it, and it clips in pretty easy to whatever hand you want to put it in, and I mean he can hold it pretty well. So I mean that looks pretty cool for Ultra Magnus for sure. So anyway, when we go ahead and look at the forge, I had the original screen accurate version that was gold and blue and stuff like that, but just to have a kind of a darker, more sinister version of it with the red and the black and the silver, it really looks good. Matter of fact, I had one of my Optimus Primals holding it because that was like his main color scheme, and it went really well with him. So anyway, yeah, fantastic sets, all of these. And I think I forgot to show it off with Megatron, him holding the Dark Star Saber, so we'll go ahead and correct that real quick. And so we'll go ahead, so you can kind of see how he looks holding that, and especially with this version of Megatron, it just goes perfectly. So I'm really happy with it. I love it. So anyway, as far as these three sets go, like I said, after reconsidering it, I just wanted to redo just these three pieces here. And like I said, even though these are older accessory add-on kits, you can find them on eBay if perhaps you wanted to spruce up a Transformers Prime figure that you have. And they work with any, not just these three, but I mean primarily these three are known to be with these three characters. So anyway, if I had to pick probably a favorite out of all of them, I'd probably go with the Dark Star Saber, just because of, like I said before, just because it looks so wicked. So anyway guys, that was a review of the Skybreaker, Tyrant, and full gear set from Dr. Wu. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed this little kind of one-off video, and we will see you next time in a different review.